Well, good morning from beautiful Smith Mountain Lake. We're here at Goodhue Boat Company this morning on the Blackwater River, and we've got just a lovely late early fall day. I'm Captain Jerry Hale, captain with Seatow for the last 14 years here at the lake, and I'm here with my good friend and retired Navy Captain Eric Cheney. He's brought his beautiful Berletta pontoon boat and dog Scotty, who's taking it easy in the sunshine, down to Goodhue this morning to be used as a demonstration vessel for us to show you some techniques and tips that you can practice in order to become a competent docker of your boat. Actually, boat docking is a skill that some people never really acquire because they never really hear exactly how it should be done, nor actually get out and practice. And the important thing is for us to show you some things that you can practice to become confident and to take the anxiety and panic out of docking your boat. Okay, let me start by just going over a few kind of fundamentals that are going to be the platform for good and easy docking. The first thing that we're going to need to do is pick a side, and that is deciding which side of the boat we're going to bring against the floating dock. Today we're going to start by docking at a floating dock. It's actually a gas dock here at Goodhue. And we're going to start by bringing the boat alongside on the port side. This boat, as many pontoons, happens to have an access door on that side of the boat. And so it's often a good idea to put that against the dock so you can get in and out, or your passengers can get in and out. Some boats like this one also have access in the bow and an access in the stern. And if your boat's like that, you've got a little more flexibility, and you can dock to your driver's side, which gives you actually a little bit better view of where the boat is relative to the dock. But for today, to start with, we'll use the port side. So we want to pick the side. The second thing that we will have done, and we've done here right now, is stopped and pause to prepare the boat to be docked. And that involves getting the fenders out, and Eric's going to put the fenders on the port side, and also make sure that you have lines fore and aft that are affixed to the boat and ready to be used or taken ashore by somebody on shore or by the crew member hopping out. The third thing to remember is that slower is better. We're going to dock at absolute minimum speed. Some people say don't ever approach a dock at any faster than you're willing to hit it. We're hopefully not going to hit it, but slow is what we want to achieve. And that slow speed is not achieved by just chugging into the dock. You'll notice as we're docking that I'm going to be taking the boat in and out of gear. A little bit of forward, and then coast in neutral. And that coasting in neutral actually allows the momentum of the boat to bleed off and be slowed a little bit. And so we're going to be approaching the dock at a slower speed than a dead idle, because we'll be only idling part of the time. Always going to be in and out and keeping the throttle at minimum. Another thing to remember is that you can steer your boat in neutral. That engine back there, when it turns, the lower unit is acting as a rudder. So when you're coasting, you still have steerage as long as you have forward motion. So you don't have to have the boat in gear to steer. You can steer it toward where you want to be while it's coasting. The other thing that we would do, Eric's got the fenders out, we've got lines attached. The other thing I would probably do with this boat particularly is go ahead and open the access door and open the one in the bow. And the reason for that is the driver has a better view of where the bow of the boat is relative to the dock when you can sort of look through that opening there. We've got Scotty in the way, but we'll get him out of the way when the time comes. So Eric, you want to grab that access door there too.
The good thing about the Barletta, though, is you can see right through the...
Oh yeah, you can see right through that.
Yeah.
That is straight. Yeah, that's handy.
They were thinking.
So we're going to actually go past our target and come back alongside the gas dock to put the port side against. Another reason for doing that today, although the wind is almost calm, there's a little bit of a prevailing breeze blowing that direction. And whenever you can, coming into the dock against the prevailing breeze is better than going with the wind, because the breeze is acting to slow you down, and the breeze is over your bow rather than catching the stern and pushing that around. All right, let's get a little bit underway here. Okay, at this point, we've made our decision to dock against the port side. We've gone past our target and are coming back toward it. In and out of gear. There's a little bit of forward in idle speed. Now I'm coasting, steering the boat toward the dock at about a 40-degree angle. 30 to 40-degree angle is what you want. A little bit of forward. Now I'm coasting toward the dock, starting this flare. I'm still in neutral. Notice the boat starting to turn away from the dock. A bump of forward, still turning away from the dock, in neutral, spin the wheel in reverse or to the left against the dock, and a gentle reverse, and that's going to pull our stern in. And at this point, we're ready to be tied up by the attendant or for a crew member to hop out and make the line secure. Notice that the engine stays running until the boat is fully secured. Scotty, I'm going to go by there and help out. Here.
Come here, bud.
There you go. Our first mate, Eric, is casting off the lines, getting ready for departure, and we want to get the engine running before we fully release ourselves from the dock, so we know that it's going to start. This one's so quiet you can barely tell that it's running, but it is running. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can get away from the dock. One is for your first mate to sort of push the boat away and then step on, and you have a little bit of momentum. If there's a big gas dock attendant, you just say, give me a shove. They'll push the boat out, and you're pretty free then to steer away from the dock. But if you're at a situation where you can't pull away forward and there's nobody to push you out, we can turn the engine away from the dock and actually back away to the point that we have a little bit of room between the boat and the dock, and thus we can pull away without bumping. Notice that the first mate and I are both wearing our life jackets. The practice that we recommend is to always wear them. Absolutely minimum is to have jackets out on deck for everybody who is in the boat, so they're not stuck under seats or whatever while you're underway. But the best practice is to be wearing them, because it's very, an accident would often be, if it occurs, unfortunately, doesn't give you time to put on a life jacket. All right, we're going to do that one more time, and this time we'll put the boat against the starboard side. That's going to be a little trickier because the wind for that dock is going to be coming over our stern. And remember, the best practice is to turn to dock into the wind. But I'm only doing this to show you that, review that technique of coming in. We want to stop before we get close to our destination dock and fix the fenders. Some gas docks will be well fendered, and you may not have that necessity to put them out, although a lot of cautious skippers like to use them regardless. This one has a sort of a rub rail on it, and it's not very soft, so I think having the fenders out is a particularly good idea for this lovely Berletta pontoon. We've got the forward door open. We're not going to be docking against the port side where the access door is, so we'll leave that one closed for now. All right, I'm steering toward the dock. We're at dead idle. I'm approaching the dock at about a 30 to 40 degree angle. And that's very typically what you want to have is an angle, because now as we coast toward the dock, here we're in neutral, as we coast toward the dock, we're coming in at an angle. I'm in neutral, but I'm going to start my turn away from the dock, and you'll see the engine is acting like a rudder again and giving us a turn. We're nice and slow. I can see the dock well. Turn the engine back toward the dock, gentle reverse, and that brings us right along dockside. And my crew is out with the line.
Perfect.
Key thing, approach at a 30 to 40 degree angle, dead idle, then in and out of gear, so your speed actually gets below idle speed because you're coasting. And then you can start your flare away from the dock as you're approaching it. Think of it a little bit like how an airplane comes in to land and it's coming toward the runway and then it flares to level out. That's exactly what we're doing with the boat. And then as you're just about to touch the dock, spin the wheel toward the dock and put it in gentle reverse. Okay? You want to spin that wheel when it's in neutral, because if you put the boat in reverse with the wheel turned this way, it's going to pull it the wrong way before you get the wheel turned all the way back toward the dock. So have it in neutral, spin it, and then put it in reverse gear. Okay, let's try a slip. All right, the next thing we're going to demonstrate for you is coming into a slip. We've stopped out here to prepare the boat, as we always do. I'm a little closer than I might be if we were just coming into the cove here. Normally I'd stop far enough away. Give yourself plenty of room so that if the wind is blowing, you're not going to be drifting to where you don't want to be in the time that it takes you to get your line set and your fender set. We're going to go into one of these wide slips over here, and Eric's going to put the fenders on the starboard side of the boat because I'm going to put the boat against the far side of that open slip. That's a whole lot easier than trying to get it against the outer side of the slip because we're going to be approaching it at that 30 to 40 degree angle. If we were actually going to be docking on the outer side of the slip, you'd want to go in further and then come back out toward it at a 30 to 40 degree angle, because it's very difficult to go around the end of a dock and actually tie to that pier that you're going around. Fenders are secure?
Fenders are secure.
Okay, we're in gear here now. And it's, Scotty's thinking it's maybe time to go on shore for a break here.
Speech.
All right, I'm out of gear, but I'm steering in neutral, in gear, out of gear, in gear, out of gear. We're just coasting along here. The boat is still steering in neutral. And I'm at a 30 degree angle to this little finger pier. So it's very much like approaching a floater or the gas dock that we just did. Now I'm starting my flare in neutral. The boat will turn away from the dock a little bit, turn the wheel, and reverse. Now, because this boat has an opening in the front, we didn't worry about where the gate was on there. We don't have to really tie up here, Eric. We're going to back out and try something else.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right, Scotty, come on, buddy.
Now to get away from this spot, everybody's on board. I'm going to turn the engine to pull stern away from the dock so that I don't bump it. Check behind me for any traffic. Gradually pull out. And I'll just kind of back on out against the wind. So to review, in the case of a wide slip like that, you basically can pick the side that you're going to dock against and then dock just as if it's a floater. The only thing that makes it a little more difficult is that you've got an endpoint that you don't want to run into. That wasn't true on the gas dock, although if another boat were there, certainly you have to be sure you're stopped before you get to it. We'll try to find a spot where there's a narrow slip. Talk for a minute about that. This is akin to going into your perhaps slip at home if you're on a lake like here at Smith Mountain Lake. Many people have lifts, and typically the lift opening or the slip opening is only about a foot wider than the boat, so it makes it a little bit tricky, particularly with a pontoon boat that doesn't have a pointy end to sort of thread the needle with. We got a narrow slip over there, yeah. Okay, again, we're going to approach this slip at a in and out of gear, coasting as slow as we can make it go. Have to watch the stern as we make our turn into this. We'll go into the second slip opening there. Have to watch the stern because there's a floater or a dock end over here. I'm coasting. Now I'm in gear to turn a little bit. Ooh, this is going to be tricky. We may not be. Backing down a little bit to finish the turn. Turn the wheel again. Now we're lined up and we're just going to in and out of gear to get back into the spot. And a little gentle reverse to stop the forward motion. We're in. Now let's talk just a little bit about wind condition. We've been fortunate this morning and the breeze is very gentle. And obviously a gentle breeze day is a good day for you to go out and start your practice of these techniques that we've been talking about. Master it in calm. Do it in the evening or the early morning before there's a lot of wind. Try it at your own floater or at your own slip. Try it at a neighbor's slip. Go to the gas dock and approach 3 or 4 times and get it muscle memory down and where things are starting to get automatic. When you are dealing with a wind, let's talk about docking in a slip with the wind. You see the wind is blowing this direction. This is our slip. It's going to be our target. A lot of people might think that the way to approach that is for the boat to get here and be drifting with the wind, and then somehow magically you get to just the right moment to duck in as the boat's passing the slip. That's the wrong approach. You want to come beyond the slip and then turn back and take the boat in so we're going against the wind. Once you get the bow into the dock, you can use the steering wheel to push the stern this direction by turning to the right and straighten out and come in. Okay, far preferable to trying to drift by and just pick the right moment to slip that in there. We want to go down and against the wind whenever possible. Same thing would be true with a floater. This is our floater. I'm going to say this is the shore over here. So as we're approaching this wind situation, we can go here, and as you flare to the dock, the wind is going to help you get the stern to come in and get parallel to the dock. Ideally, another good scenario is if the shore were over here, would be to be approaching the floater from downwind so that we have the wind blowing against the bow and slowing our motion as we go here toward the dock. That's going to be really important to get close to the dock and to get a line ready to give to somebody on shore or on the floater so that they can help pull you in and keep the wind from blowing you away. Just take a moment. Yep. Let's just take a moment and talk about the proper way to tie a boat to a cleat on the dock using what we call a cleat knot or a cleat hitch. We're going to take this end, the other end is attached to the boat, and we always take it around the far ear of the cleat. Not here, around the far ear of the cleat. Okay? We go around over once, twist inside, and there's your cleat knot. What will give you away as a landlubber is doing all of this business. It's not, or this business. It's not necessary to have all of these twists on the knot cleat. It only makes it harder to take off when you get ready to go. If you want to make it neat and no tripping hazard, you can either coil the line, make it there, but wrapping it around the cleat is just bad practice and it's totally unnecessary. Once more, we take this end of the cleat around, or this end of the line around the far ear of the cleat from the outside, over, twist under, and we're looking to have these two strands of line parallel to one another, just laying there under that fastening part. And then we can get the end out of the way so nobody trips on it. So by way of quick review of what the techniques that we've talked about today, let me just kind of run them down in order. Stop 50 yards or so away from your docking spot and prepare the boat by making sure the lines are attached to the side that you're going to dock to. You've made that decision, and that the fenders get placed on the side that you're going to dock to. Secondly, approach the dock at a 30 to 40 degree angle as slow as you can go and maintain steerage. That means going in and out of a forward gear, back into neutral, coasting. You can use the wheel to steer the boat even when you're coasting, as long as you have headway. Once we approach the dock, we basically want to create a 30 to 40 degree angle toward the dock and then flare against it, just like an airplane flares approaching when it goes in before touchdown on the runway. As you do that flare, you're going to be sure you're in neutral, spin the wheel toward the dock, give it gentle reverse, and that will pull the stern into the dock. Probably the most important thing to mastering these docking skills is practice. And you want to get out and practice, do it over and over again. Do it when nobody's watching, maybe just your mate on board to help with the lines. You can dock multiple times and not necessarily tie up each time. Just get out and practice. Once you have it mastered in calm conditions, pick a little bit of a breezy day and get out and practice. And practice coming in against the wind. Practice a situation where the wind isn't in your favor. Get all of those things under your belt so that when you're out for a day of boating, you can deal with whatever docking circumstance you encounter. Thanks for listening. Thanks for paying attention. Practice, practice, practice. You can become a confident docker.